Peace, 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 salute, peace and power. I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. The divine mind knows, the divine mind shows, all things work in divine order. Peace and power. Peace and power. How the people? How the people? How the people? What's good? What's going on? As I wait for the young comrades, I'm going to send out a couple of invites, let them know I'm here, and we're going to do what we do as always. Okay, fam. Send me an invite. Send me an invite. Bay just put me on and hit me to it. So again, let's get it in. I've been a little busy doing some intense studies. Teach, yo. I've been doing some intense studies and intense work over the week. Bear with me. Babe, what up? As we waiting for the comrade to join, we could get it in.
Peace, peace.
Peace, Almighty. What's good with you?
Everything good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm at peace. You know, I'm in the rest. I had no time frame on it, else I would have been prepared, you know, but I'm always ready to go. What's going on?
Ain't much, just taking it easy, staying safe, looking after my loved ones.
Exactly. That's what it's supposed to be about all the time, 24/7. We're the only ones who can do it. You dig?
Peace, Electro. What's good, man?
Yeah, peace, babe. What up?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a few questions for you. I want to know a little bit about your background. Maybe the people's heard it, but I haven't. You know what I mean?
Background is as far as what? As far as work or politics or personal?
Like your story, what area of the East you came from, because I lived in the East for many years.
Okay.
Yeah. And I see we had a mutual friend in common on the book, my friend Alex Williams.
Yeah.
My family used to live in that building.
Okay.
215, Covine.
Well, I'm from Penn Workman, the mighty Penn.
Okay, that's where his grandmother, rest in peace, lived at.
Right, mighty Penn Workman.
My man lived there, Flip, Everett Wilson.
Everett Wilson, Flip, is the reason why they call me Blizz to this day. He the one that gave me that name.
Okay.
He named me after his older brother. Because if you know Flip had 4 older brothers, and his brother Johnny, we used to call him Blizz, and since he said I was a quiet storm like Blizz, that's where the name came from. So I've had that name since 82, 83.
Oh, that's when the movie theater was right there on Workman and Penn, right?
Right, exactly. Well, we done seen that transition. I've been out there since 73. So we was actually the first family to move into that apartment in 155 Workman. So we the first wave of people that was in there. My father actually got that apartment because he was a supervising construction maintenance and laborer on Starrett City. But he didn't want to live in Starrett City because of how it was built. So we end up
on the marshland.
Right. So we end up moving into Penn Workman. Dig? So, you know, when they say the East, that's home ground, home turf for me.
Definitely.
You know,
but I just lived on the other side, but I used to be.
That's what I was getting ready to say. As far as Penn Workman and the projects go, I was always on the other side. You understand what I'm saying? So I came up on Vermont with Musk, may he rest in peace. His brother Unique, Andre, Wayne,
Steve and Pee Wee, rest in peace.
Everybody, you know, Ron Wages and Tanoy and L, you know, True and you know, Larry,
True, that's my people.
Dave. So I ran all on that other side. You
Yeah,
understand what I'm
yeah,
saying? So it was rare for somebody from the project to be able to be on both sides, especially when the war started in the mid to late 80s, you know. And then I went to
yeah.
Jeff, you know, I'm a neighborhood kid, you know what I'm saying? I went to all the neighborhood schools from 306 to Gersh to Jeff. I never left. That's,
Okay.
you know, I'm an East New York dude, and I took it with me all the way overseas and every state up and down the East Coast. You know, I banged for East New York, but I never banged
Definitely.
on East New York. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't
Yeah,
understand uh, where we lost our youth at. You dig what I'm saying? We always stuck tight because East, you know, people didn't even know where Penn Workman was when I was coming up. We used to have to direct cab drivers to Workman Ave. They had no idea what it was, you know?
because I guess it's like on the borderline of Canarsie.
Well,
Once you go down Flatlands,
see,
and once you get,
historically, the mob always dropped bodies back there from the original
oh
murder
yeah, I
agent,
remember. I remember
Albert
where the black
Anastasia. We always had a connection to the mob. So the mob always
over there on the Van Sicklen side where the fair used to be at way back.
all the way through. They had the entire East. They actually had a clubhouse where Eastern Parkway meets Bushwick Avenue. That was
Oh,
Albert
all right,
Anastasia's clubhouse
right there by Evergreen Cemetery.
right there. The mob, that's
Yeah,
how close the Italian mafia was in Brooklyn, East New York. And then they spread from there to Brownsville. So historically, it's always been known they don't go back there. Nobody went back there, you know? And we
yeah,
had that initial connection where if you go further back, when you're talking about the farmlands and things of that nature in the 1800s, the farmers used to bring all their groceries all the way up, which is now the Belt Parkway, but that connection from Long Island, they would bring their food up and travel through there in order to get to downtown and eventually to the
yeah,
city.
like Flatbush and go straight down Flatbush Avenue.
Right. So, you know, East New York always been, you know, backlands, the badlands, you know, and that's all they raised. You know what I'm saying? That's all that come up out of that area. So it was very unfamiliar for a long time. You know, it was some place that we held on our own and we always had to venture out. Nobody was coming in, so we ventured out, especially when we started going to the clubs and things of that nature. And, you know, again, we had our footprints in everything, right? That was our Nation of Gods and Earths made, you know, Brookline, Nubia,
Yeah,
but right where they held big rallies. So
yeah,
everything was
definitely.
in East New York in that little area. So we always had a connection to some of the most intelligent, also the most street individuals that was around. So we had no
Yeah,
choice but to grow up in it and to be a part of all of it. You know, so personally, that's where I'm from. That's my background and how I was raised. I was always raised around some real good dudes. I looked up to my OGs because they held us down. They taught us everything.
definitely, definitely. Yeah, though. Okay, I just want to know a little bit. I thought you was some over there in pink houses for some reason.
No, no. The last time that I really was going through pink houses when we had citywide basketball tournaments and we used to play them in the center. And we talking about TSS days when TSS was still back
Okay,
there.
yeah, yeah, that's
You
like
know?
I think they closed in like '86 or something. So
Yeah, so now
'87.
the only connection to it was when we used to go to Midtown, you know, we would run with Guy Latique and, you know, different dudes is coming up
Rest in
out of
peace,
there,
Latif. Yeah,
right?
definitely. Yeah, yeah,
Still, we wasn't going over there. They was more so coming towards us because, again, when you coming out of the East, you have to pass our area.
yeah.
So, you know, instead of taking the A train, they taking the 3 and meeting up with dudes in Brownsville, they coming through. So now they coming through Boulevard, they coming through Linden, meeting on the Ave on Van Sicklen, and we've going further out. We may pick up a couple of people in Brookline. You know, it was a few dudes out of Brookline that was official that would come through back and forth. And then we venture out. We going to Midtown. We not coming in the hood doing nothing. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
that was later on. When them dudes started hustling and things of that nature, most of us, you know, we was Midtown bandits or stick-up kids. We wasn't with the hustle. That came
That's
later
a fact.
on,
You know, and that was really, that's the destruction and the turning point of East New York. When dudes start really hustling in the buildings and things, and then it just got out of hand. You dig? It wasn't
Yeah,
something
yeah,
that we did. That was never a mainstay in Brooklyn. That was an uptown thing. That was a Harlem Bronx thing, Queens. Dudes in Brooklyn wasn't with that. But once, you know,
yeah.
again, and now we talking when everybody else was hustling 83, 84, 85, and then hit the hoods until late when dudes really start accepting it. And then when that younger crop in like 9192 made it a choice, this was their chosen hustle, shit flipped.
Yeah,
You
true
dig? That
that.
was never nothing. That was always taboo for us. We wasn't messing with that because we seen the self-destruction in it. We didn't play, you
Definitely.
know, that wasn't about what we was
All right.
about. At least my old
Yeah,
timers, they
definitely.
didn't bring us up like that, you know.
Definitely.
And when you see it now, that's what it is. Because anytime you into a hustle, you into it, and that's deception. There's nobody looking out for anybody. You dig? If you a stick up,
Every man for himself,
every
pretty
man
much
for
these
itself.
days.
So whatever happens, happens. Whoever rat on anybody, that's all it is. That's what that game entails. And if that's the mainstay of the street, that's the mainstay of the hustle, then of course the people gonna get caught up in it and they're gonna be rotten. When you in the stick up game, everybody gotta protect each other because they know the penalties is great. You're gonna lose your life or you're gonna catch a forever bid. So it's a different dynamic when y'all going out to do something. You dig what I'm saying? Y'all got to have specific type of individuals with you because y'all know, yo, anything can go down with this.
Mm-hmm.
You dig? You not around the way continuously staying around the way doing bullshit. That's all a hustle is. You standing there waiting for somebody to come who already have issues to purchase a drug that's going to continue to get them issues. And once you caught up in that, you become a victim of that hustle. So now you thinking in the same way that your customers is thinking. You trying to outthink them. They trying to outthink you, and the whole community suffering. Stick up kids, we
And that's
going
what
out.
happened.
Wherever the bread is,
Definitely.
the bread is. We going to get bread. We're not coming back without that. And we not going, there's no bread in our hood. So
Not
then
like
you
that.
gotta venture out. You have to hit Wall Street. You have to hit the Diamond Block. You gotta hit Midtown. You gotta go
Definitely.
out. You gotta venture out, and then when you're coming back, you have nothing to do but play Robin Hood because people don't have. It's not a gunman, not a stick man's dude to come home and floss and shit because he might not get it again for another 6 months, another 3 months. So you going out there and getting something, you coming through and making sure that you have some type of investment that where you can sustain yourself. A hustler get it, he don't appreciate it, they get it and they spend it. They get it
The
and they
faster
trick
they
it.
come, the faster they come, the faster they go. That's what I learned through my days.
So it's a whole different spill with it. No,
Yeah.
I come from out of that cloth. And then I don't, never ignore the fact that we was always studying. So when you're coming up under the 5%, you have to read. You got to study. So we read and studying
Definitely.
lessons. We read and studying comic books. We reading and studying newspapers. It's a different move.
They was giving out universals back then.
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
Mm.
So and then at when you're talking mid to late 70s, you couldn't even come outside your door without seeing somebody building, without a mini rally somewhere. The guards was out there. So you're influenced by that. You can't even come outside. How you gonna come outside if you don't know your degrees, you don't know lessons? And the guards is the majority of the people in the P's. They're the majority of the people in the game room. They're majority of people in the basketball court. So it's always somebody building and trying to elevate you to get you in a different space.
Definitely.
You dig? So it's a whole different mindset. You coming up reading. You had no choice. Now it's wiggle room, even with all the technology and all the information there, it's not nobody to facilitate that. So you only have a short few that's going to pick up something and want to better their understanding of what they're going through. It's
Absolutely.
different back then. And then when that started waning, Then you get the bullshit. Now you have
Yeah.
a perfect pot for the self-violence, for the self-destruction, for kids getting shot and things of that nature. There's nobody there and no institution to facilitate that movement. There's no momentum for it. So the bullshit comes, nothing remains the same. Either, just like the lesson say, either you're building or you're
Or
decaying. Nothing is a constant, and nothing is an equitable balance. Something has to be moving. It's kinetic energy. So now when you have a limited consciousness and you have a limited amount of people out there trying to build, you're going to have a mass amount, a wave of self-destruction. And when that get embedded into the culture, now you have to work 10 times as hard to get up out of it.
So let me ask you this: what you had in mind for building on for today?
All actuality, I was down here on a mid-range. I wasn't building, I was just observing. I get into it because I'm building all week. Damn near the entire 7 days. So at certain spaces, I fall back and try to recharge and do my studying, right?
Okay.
See what's going on, feel the temperature, walk in the street a little bit. Again, I'm not home base, I'm not in the East. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So it's a different temperament where I'm at to try to figure out what exactly is going on in their neck of the woods. Because now they're at a higher pace when it comes to the self-destruction, but the energy is not there. See, when you in Brownsville, when you're in the East, you can feel the tension. You know the tension. You can smell it when it's out and about. But when you're in different areas, Flatbush, East Flatbush, Canarsie, that tension isn't there. So this is why everybody's so shocked when it happens. Because there's an undercurrent of it. These dudes is in their houses, they're in their basements, they're in their garages, you know what I'm saying, on computer, on an internet, humiliating each other. So when they see each other, it's on site. And it's usually on site for bullshit, and everybody else get caught up in it because they don't know what the hell they doing. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a different temperament. That's why they can't put a fix on it. Nobody knows what's going on. They just see it, hear it, and now they're in shock and awe because they can't touch it. The only way you can touch it is to be out in it and to understand and to speak with them. But if they in a different language and they're in a different zone, you're not going to get a grip on it, and it's going to continue, and it's going to keep continuing, and it's going to keep having little ones getting hit.
Innocent bystanders like it was back in the 80s, like it was just the Wild West in the East, or throughout the boroughs, just all over.
Yeah,
with
but
the epidemic
even in that at its highest, when you're talking about from 88 to 91, people that was getting hit was in the mix. They was in it. It wasn't this bullshit where you getting people that have nothing to do with nothing.
Now, I remember a couple of times, like New Jersey and Pennsylvania, Vermont, and Sutter, little girls getting hit in the car, and it was quite a few bystanders getting laid down.
It wasn't continuous. When I'm talking every day,
not so much like
this is every day in at least 3 of the boroughs. Someone who has nothing to do with nothing getting hit. That's the difference. I can tell you that for a fact and attest to that. 88, 89, 90, 91, 92. Out of 100% of the people that got hit, 93, 94% was in the mix. That's here. Now it's a whole complete opposite. Now about 70% of the people that's been hit over the last 4 weeks, they had nothing to do with nothing at all. And that's not only here, that's nationwide. 10-year-olds in Chicago sitting in the car with her mother and father gets wig pushed. 2-year-olds getting pushed. 1-year-old getting pushed. 5-year-olds getting hit. Getting out of cab like this is the self-destruction of the vibration. There's no culture. There is a deaf culture. And that comes from not having anybody older facilitate, speak to, talk to, engage with, and give these young people purpose. You cannot allow them to move in a world where they know nothing about and allow them to build with each other. They just got here. When you're talking about a 15-year-old opening up on a crowd, he just got out the house at 10, 11, 12. He just learning how to walk. He can't even speak good. So where's the rage and the anger coming from? That you're going to bust off into a crowd? That has to be addressed. And there's different layers. That's
It's
involved with that.
there's definitely deep-rooted issues behind that for that young man to do something like that.
Right. So when is it going to be addressed? Who's going to address it, and how do you catch it? Again,
I don't think it's one person's. I believe it's one person's job. I think it's the elders in general to reach out to the community as in their own community, and
how many elders? How many elders are equipped to do it? It's like just any elder couldn't talk to me.
Yeah,
I'm sure just any elder can't talk to them. You dig what I'm saying? We had a different understanding and different respect that came with looking at somebody as a man. You understand?
Yeah.
That energy is not there. People could look in my face, right, and not understand what they're looking at. They don't understand that energy. That alpha male energy is hard for them to pick up on because it has been dismissed. For so long, it's been dismissive. It's been pushed to the side. You cannot have an alpha male, a black alpha male in charge, in the lead of anything, because then the rest of the society has to question who they are. If you're looking at this black man as an alpha and as someone that's intelligent and articulate and can govern himself, then what is we doing here? What is our job? So they got to make sure they push that out of the way. So now you got a generation that may look at you and don't even understand who they looking at. They can't deal with that energy. So when you speaking to them, it sounds as if you speaking at them and speaking down to them. They don't get that energy. So if you don't know how to make that a subtle piece and it come from a point of wanting to understand and learn from them, you're going to miss. And I see people miss it all the time. They still coming with this rotary phone attack or this rotary phone theory, and we're in the smartphone age. That shit ain't gonna work. You can't bring Al Sharpton to the hood and think you're gonna get results. Fuck out. He'd be lucky if he don't get his shit pushed. And that go for anybody that come in that format or come with that lingo and come with that language. It's a foreign language to this animosity, to this anger that's raging right now. You dig? So it's going to be a specific type of individual, of elder that can get it done. And then you're going to have a space where the other elders don't feel a ways because they coming to get the knowledge from that person. And that's what you got now. Everybody want to grandstand and soapbox, but then they don't want to do the work or unable to do the work. And that's what breeds the resentment and breeds the misdirection of the true movement. Because now I'm gonna direct y'all over here. Now I'm gonna tell y'all need to fix your credit to be worthy. Now I'm gonna tell you need to invest in real estate to be someone that's upstanding. No, you need to come over here and sit in these church pews. You dig what I'm saying? They're gonna misdirect the real path of liberation because they want to be in front. That's that ego shit. And kids read that. The babies read that. That's why they're not trying to hear nothing from nobody, because y'all trying to misdirect them. You can't douse that anger. You got to redirect it and give it a good focal point and to show the true target. But if you sitting with the targets and you eating with the targets and breaking bread with them, of course you're going to feel the ways about telling the kids the truth, because then you're going to get your wig popped off when they coming to get the real enemy. Because you sitting there grandstanding with them, chuckling it up, playing grab ass with them. So you don't want the youth to know the real truth. It's a particular type of elder that got to deal with that, and then have an institution around him to keep that moving, to keep that brewing, to keep that building, to make sure that militancy is consistent.
And not too many equipped to do that.
No, they not. They not.
Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, they not.
They not, because they're not cut from the same cloth. And then they may be cut from the same cloth, but since the people haven't been listening to them for such amount of years, they get a resentment against the people.
Authority. Anybody in authority trying to tell them something, like, you know, they got issues, paternal issues with their parents, lack of being there, authority, a lot of raised in the system.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up in communities where we believed we were related. We took care of each other.
Exactly.
Jay Thugger, no doubt.
Exactly.
No doubt. It's a different day now, though. It's a different era. It's a whole different energy now.
Because once you take spirituality out, once you take the love out, you're done off. See, people who now are trying to encourage black people to move in a different way, they want them to believe that you could take hate and rage and anger and pick up a hammer and you're gonna win something. But you're not gonna win like that. Revolution is love inspired. So if you don't love your queen, if you don't love your children, if you don't love each other as black men and as brothers, you can't win shit. I don't care if you got 1 million guns per person. But y'all got hate and animosity and jealousy and egos involved. Y'all not getting past the first battle. That's not what it is. You're not getting nowhere with that shit. Revolution is love inspired, love of self, then that outward love of your women, your children, and each other as soldiers in a foxhole. We got to be able to love each other to be in a foxhole together when these crackers come. Or you're not going to do nothing. If we got animosity and hate or just pure rage, any of us could be a mercenary, and that's what's happening. People getting paid to kill off the mindset, to kill off the energy of the true liberation practices and the true liberation process. Black people in black face, in black skin, utilizing, right, black culture and beliefs and undermining the whole shit. Because they coming from a space of hate and animosity. You can't win like that. That's an actual fact. Without love of each other and love of your people, you go nowhere. That's how Cuba was able to win. That's how China was able to win. That's how Vietnam was able to win and get these people up off them. That's how PLO stayed around so long. Because they had a love that couldn't be broken. Once you break that, once you have one black man looking at another and you got to question whether he on your side, you done off. So the mindset got to be right first before you even pick up the hammer. The hammer's the last thing.
You
might not even have to get the hammer if your mindset is right. Because sometimes you got to do is sit the fuck down. And you render everybody else powerless. Simple as that. I came in the house and took a phone without saying shit. You dig what I'm saying? Unarmed. But that energy and that aura had people under the perception that, yo, I don't know who he is, but son got to get on that jack. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. When you grounded and firm in your beliefs, ain't nobody gonna have power or authority over you. And that's what they missing. Because they always allow somebody who is of the enemy of the people to have power and control and final say over what they do. Once you relinquish that power and you saying, well, we can't do it that way because of them, you're done. And see, love don't do that. When you love yourself, you don't allow that shit. Because nobody can just tell you anything. And you won't fall for it. That's what's happening with black leadership. They sold each other out all the time. They sell the people out all the time. Because they said we gotta wait. Who the fuck is they? Or they say, no, well, that's against they law. Oh, word? Okay, you keep doing that and we're gonna have another generation in the same space. You don't allow nobody have power or authority over you. Never. And once you realize that, then you can work. Then you're gonna build on things because now you're gonna have to do it. Because once you expose them for who they are, they're not giving you anything. You're going to have to rely on yourself. You're going to have to be responsible for yourself and them kids and them women and them babies up under you. You ain't waiting on no check from the government to tell you your program got to run a certain way. You can't do it like that. Because they're going to always say, you know what, we ain't giving you the check this year. Now what? Now them open mouths is just standing there open, and you pop a bird, you can't put no worm in the fucking mouth because what? Because another bird that's told you can't get none of the worms? So now your kids are dying off. It's just that simple. When you allowing somebody to call shots at any level, you're not independent.
Agreed. Looking at some of the comments, how everybody doing out there? Jane Thugger, that's what's up. Was on point how we grew up on Stacks, Electro. Lilia loves life.
Letitia,
What up?
my sister-in-law.
Peace, sis. Beat downs at Universal.
All that. But yeah, that's.
Stone, what up? New Jack City. Probably New Crack City.
That's what did it.
Yeah.
That's what did it. And we gotta be mindful and not to make those same mistakes again. You understand? Now we're in a whole different space. Now we're in
like
synthetic
the
drugs.
The pills is the new crack.
Yeah. But again, the government is the source.
Of course. We already know that.
The government is the main source. Nothing comes through without them. Nothing.
Already know.
Nothing. So if that's a new epidemic, prescription drugs, who's making prescriptions? Who is the chemist behind it? How is it getting out?
Yeah, them pharmaceutical companies, which is,
okay. And
they create customers. They don't do it.
It's not only centered in the hood.
Yeah,
it's centered in amongst their own people, but their own people are given resources to keep them balanced off to some degree. When they not balanced off, that's when you see them coming out there mass murdering people and all type of foolish shit. You dig what I'm saying? It's a different age now. Now, since the resources are not there to keep their own people alive, they're killing everybody off. So what do? You dig what I'm saying? There's no way in hell a black kid in a project in Brownsville should be addicted to pain medication. What are you talking about, man? His mother could barely afford to get barbecue chips for him, but he got money to get a $20 pill, a narcotic? Come on, man. People got to think. That's the government, the same government they telling you to vote for. The same government that they saying, well, this one is going to give you relief. The fuck, really? Really? It's a game. It's a game. But in order to be smart, well, you got to leave it all alone. You can't take a piece and leave it alone. You can't point a finger and say, well, police over here is killing us. We need to attack police, defund. That's a symptom too. All that got to be left alone. Once you attacking police, you have to attack those who make the police policy. And if their law is in effect, then you got to attack their political establishments. You got to leave all that alone. But can't be scared to have to deal with shit on your own. You're not going to be able to go to the store and pick up a can of corn. Nigga, you're going to have to grow your own corn. That's being responsible and self-resilient and not dependent on nothing. People scared of that.
Maybe because they never had to venture through those waters before.
They didn't have to.
Because they relied on this.
Again, that's what comes from in the home. If you living up under daddy roof until you 45, 50, when it's time for you to get out on your own, you done off.
You're gonna be lost. You're gonna be lost in the sauce.
Lost in the sauce.
That's a fact.
You don't come into confrontation with none of the problems that daddy know how to get around. because daddy been working since he's 16 and 17. So he knows how to double down when shit get tight. He knows how to tighten that belt up. He knows how to budget and get these things done for the family. He knows to be responsible. He know he can't be out in the street drinking or partying or chasing 3 or 4 other women because he got a family at home. But when you've been up under that household and then you stepping out when you 30, 32 and you getting your first little construction job or your little CO job and you getting your little check and you blowing the shit in the strip club, you dig what I'm saying? Or you got 2 or 3 of these young thoughts taking your money and you got 3 kids at home and they ain't seen daddy in 2 weeks. This is what it's about. Lack of responsibility because he never had to do for self. That's what our people are suffering from. They never had to do for self. So anybody that comes spit some game at them, they're going to jump at. Fix your credit. Oh, word, I'm over here. Yo, let's start a susu. Oh, I'm over here. Yo, this pastor got this answer. Oh, okay, I'm over there. You all over the motherfucking place. Instead of being in here. This is where you got to be. If you're not in here, you done off. So people got to figure that out.
It's a process though to go through to figure that out.
Look, we ain't got time. You don't have time. You dig what I'm saying? And we had time because we've had great examples all from Marcus Garvey on up. We've had great examples. So that was your time. You had Garveyites up until he left. Then from there you had members of the Nation of Islam. You dig what I'm saying? And you had members of the Panthers. And you had a whole spell in the 80s to show you exactly how to get self-reliant, to get financially stable. You had decades of time. Now that shit has ran out. It's ran out now. So where do you build? How do they get on their feet? How do they get that self-reliance? You utilize all that knowledge that's been passed down. They got to go back to those lessons. Because now, when I'm talking about Garvey and his methods and his ideology, right, and we in 2020, if you didn't study that, then you definitely lost. You understand what I'm saying? Now you got to you got to come all the way up. You got to go from Garvey to Khalid Muhammad and then some in order to catch up. So you had time. Just like your parents give you time to get your shit together. Some parents kick you out at 18, 19. Some parents allow you to stay until you graduate college. That's time. Black people had time, B. Garvey showed you the way. In the 1910s and 20s and 30s, that was the platform. Then Elijah came, gave you a platform. Then Father Allah came and said, okay, if you don't want to succumb to that, I'm telling you, you God. You understand what I'm saying? Then Khalid Muhammad gave you a nationalist perspective and Farrakhan. So you had these giants coming through and you had decades to get your shit right. And now you running around pressed for time, now looking crazy because just like they told you that this shit was going to collapse and you was going to have to rely on yourself. Now you want people to feel sorry for you? I don't have time for that. That ain't coming from me. You can get that from somebody else. I don't have time for that shit. Because my kids is 15 and they killing our 5-year-olds.
Say that.
You dig? So while these other dudes want to scam you out of bullshit and got you buying all type of Kente t-shirts and all this other shit, that ain't in my realm. Begging for you to donate to cash apps and all that bullshit in order so I can live. That's all that shit is about. Fuck, are you not selling nothing that the people need? Fuck, I need with a Kente t-shirt. It's selling small, medium hoodies and all that shit. I don't need that shit. I don't need to tell you who I am. Why he tell me who I am every day? A nigga. So until you able to get up out of that, miss me with that donating shit. I'm not telling my people I don't need shit from y'all, but to love yourself. Simple as that.
Most definitely.
You dig?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well spoken, well said, well said.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And we gotta move from there. That's the solution. Pull up out of this shit, and while you pulling up out of this, you building your own. Don't care where, don't care how. But this shit don't work. And it
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been working. Shit ain't worked since
It ain't designed for. It's not designed to work for us.
it's not. Never, and people know that and been knowing it. You dig what I'm saying? So ever since Hamilton got his shit pushed back, this shit ain't worked for us. It ain't been working. You under delusion to think that it is. It don't work. Scrap this shit. Throw it away. But to keep working and keep feeding and keep having faith in some other bullshit that ain't happening, people never gonna see you like that. It ain't in their DNA. They don't have the DNA to have any true compassion or concern for you. That's why they can watch George Floyd get his shit snuffed out on the street corner. They don't care. It's not in their DNA. It is not. It's gone. They don't have it. So stop believing in that shit. That you could go in the voting booth and say, oh, this person is going to get this shit right. The fuck out of here. You sound stupid to me. But again, it's levels, and people have to go through it. So I'm not going to be an enemy to you. You go ahead. I already know what is going to be the end result of that bullshit. But if that's the process that you have to go through, me as a liberator, as a true revolutionary scientist, have to allow that to a certain degree. You got to allow people to go through that. That's their path. My prescription for my glasses ain't they shit. Right? They got a different prescription. They may need bifocals to see this shit. You dig? That's 2020, right? That's what we said. New year, 2020 vision. Everybody gonna see different shit.
Yeah,
Right?
you seeing it.
If you see it, it's here. It's in your face. Now, if you don't see it now, again,
You'll never see
you
it.
gotta go get your eyes checked. I'm not the eye doctor for that shit, man. That ain't my job. That ain't my job. Never been.
Copy.
Never been. I just can articulate it to a certain degree, but this ain't what I do. I do this because I know how to do it and I can do it. But I'm in the foxholes. I'm getting it in. That's what I've been doing.
Soldier.
That's what I was raised. I'm from East New York. We don't know no different. We don't know no way, no other way. Keep it a buck, and when it's time to go, it's time to go. We're not talking about it. You dig? Let the rest of them play games with us. Well, I always tell Bay, I know dudes not trying to debate with me. They're not trying to talk with me because they don't have the receipts in the street. They don't have the receipts behind the wall. They cannot do it. So they will never do it. Not to that degree. You dig? So that ain't me. Let them have that lane. They're going to all fall on their swords anyway. That's what they've been doing. Most of them that been doing it, we don't see them no more. You don't see the Umars, you don't see the Polites, you don't see none of them. None of them. They done. Because it came from a perspective of full of shit, of no true love for the people. So eventually they're going to fall by the wayside. That's what it is. But this shit started running numbers, the time running already.
Yeah.
This shit going to dead us, so in order for me to save it, I got to cut it, But it's always a pleasure to build with you. You did?
Always. And thanks to everybody for showing up in the comments.
No doubt.
Appreciate y'all. And check my page, Original Brooklyn, Malcolm Ali 4, Malcolm Ali 11.
That's right. Let them know where they can find you at and see your content. You dig? Definitely promote yourself,
Yes, sir. And I look forward to doing it again real soon, Bless. So I ain't gonna hold you.
And like I said, you can move it over to Facebook.
Wherever, different platforms, and just reach out different,
Definitely, all the time. Bay know where I'm at. Bay got direct contact. Now you got contact. Shoot me a DM, inbox, and we get it in.
All right. I'll say peace with that. Everybody have a good night. Be safe, man. Take care of yourself.
Yes, everybody be safe.
Peace.